Hello, everyone. You're watching the Hub Online Network. My name is Gareth. Happy October. Happy Friday. It's just after 3 o'clock. Sorry, I'm a little bit late today. Today, we're talking pretty much elections, but with a little bit of Ashcroft and Cache Creek thrown in there. So let's get to it. So, in Ashcroft, at a special meeting of the Ashcroft Council, that they had to have for a few time-sensitive items that needed to be voted on, including deciding on pursuing a joint bylaw officer with Cache Creek and Clinton, and deciding which staff recommendation to go with regarding the drainage study needed for the new subdivision plan for Government Street. So the outcome of the Government Street study vote was that the village would put up the money for the study while applying for a grant and then pass on whatever is left owing after the grant is applied to the developers of the subdivision per building, structure, home. So if the project costs $80,000 and the grant covers $60,000, then the developers will have $20,000 worth to pay back to the village. But it'll be divided up between the developers per building. So that is what they decided with that. And I believe that they also decided to go with working with Cache Creek and Clinton to have a bylaw officer. So that would be interesting, as we haven't had one here. So with all the bylaws going on, it would be interesting to have a person that can actually pursue going after people for those bylaws. Now I've had an opportunity to sit down with Dan Collett. He is the representative from the Ashcroft Slough Society, and you can check out the rest of this interview, as well as one that I did with Patty Kinvig from the Ashcroft Terminal. And you can also see a video of Dan and myself getting around the now off-limits train bridge to get to a safe path that would take you to the slough. You can check all of those out on the Hub Online Network YouTube channel, and the interview with Dan will be up after this video is done. So let's check out just a few minutes of what Dan and I talked about, and I'll be right back. Dan, what is the Ashcroft Slough Society?
Well, the Ashcroft Slough Society is a group of user groups that have been using the slough for recreational purposes, and we are more knitted together now as an actual society. So it used to be a loose group of individuals interested in getting access to regaining access to the slough, and now we're an actual society, and we're moving forward.
What does it take? I have nobody in the studio to help me out today, so I'm trying to do the tech stuff as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, what does it take? Because this happened pretty quick. So what does it take to become a society?
Well, you have to fill out the forms and get the name approved and have an executive and list those people and so on and what your intentions are, and have a mission statement and have a constitution, those kinds of things. So we had to nail all that down and send it in, and we got approved as ashcroftsloughsociety.com. And then the reason that we felt that we had to do it is that we realized that we weren't going to be taken seriously as a bunch of individuals together unless we were a formal group.
So in the society, do you have a specific title that you hold?
Yes, I'm member at large.
So you're not like the treasurer, you're not the president, You're not vice president, you're not on those seven titled.
Well, member at large is an important voting member, but I don't have a specific title except that I've been asked to represent our society in talks such as this, and be the spokesperson.
All right, so let's walk me through, because I know some things about this particular situation, but let's pretend that I don't.
Yeah.
Talk me through what happened to get us here to where the Ashcroft Slough Society had to be formed.
Okay, well, construction started out at Ashcroft Terminal in about 2008. And during those early years, access was still available to the public off of Evans Road in 3 locations. And it was a walk of about 5 minutes to get down to the slough. And at the time, the public was told that access was being considered of how they were going to maintain public access for down there, because Ashcroft Terminal knows how important it is to the public here, to Ashcroft people. But then, of course, construction moves ahead. It becomes more dangerous, and naturally, with the twinning of all the lines for ACN and so on, those crossings are no longer viable, and we understand that. In fact, Ashcroft Slough Society is very much a proponent of Ashcroft Terminal and the expansion that they're doing. We, just like them, want our children to have places to work and have prosperity here. So when the access points were taken away and that part of Evans Road was no longer accessible and they put in a gate, we have a young lady from town put out on Facebook. She put out a petition, and that petition very quickly became had signatures of around 800 people that really wanted to see access to the slough, knowing that those 3 points were taken away. So we started getting together as groups of people, and when the Ashcroft Terminal decided to put together a community working group, some of us applied for that and were accepted as part of the group, thinking that what they wanted for us as a community was an alternative way of getting into the slough. That's what we really thought they were getting at.
So that was an interesting interview. And again, after this episode of the Ash Creek News, I'll make sure I have that posted up onto YouTube for your perusal. Now, just a few things about what's going on at the Hub Online Network. We have dissolved our website. So what that means is the email addresses that we had, we no longer have. So for my own self, you can email me at hanjournalist@ashcrofthub.com. Now, the reason I'm putting this up now is because we have a bunch of interviews coming up with the local people running in the riding for the upcoming election. So it'd be great to have your questions for them. We're doing a all candidates meeting on the 15th of October, and I'm also going to be doing longer form interviews with all of the candidates. So please, if you have any questions, or even for Brad Viss, I'm having a chat with our MP Brad Viss on the 14th of October. So it would be awesome to have your questions, your comments, your concerns, so I can pass them along to our people that may or may not be in power. So please send in your questions to hanjournalist@ashcrofthub.com. Now, from Wednesday to Thursday, we had 82 new cases of COVID in the province, and from Tuesday to Wednesday, 125 new cases. So we're still averaging about 100 and something cases a day. I'm not sure what the new numbers are. I'll see if I can find those during the next video. But let's talk about some provincial politics. So, record numbers requesting mail-in vote packages for BC election. This is a story done by Barbara Roden, our local editor-in-chief at the Ashcroft Cache Creek Journal. So thank you, Barbara, for providing this. Provincial election will be taking place, of course, on October 24th, and voting by mail numbers are expected to skyrocket because of COVID-19 pandemic. Elections BC, which oversees voting for the election, is releasing the estimated number of vote-by-mail packages requests they receive, with the figure updated every weekday. The estimate reflects the cumulative number of vote-by-mail package requests received by Elections BC. It does not represent the number of vote-by-mail packages issued to date or the number of mail-in ballots that will be considered for counting. This is because voters may not return their vote-by-mail package by the deadline, and all vote-by-mail packages must be screened before being accepted for counting. During the 2017 provincial election, some 6,500 British Columbians chose to vote by mail. As of Tuesday, September 29th, more than 431,000 requests for vote-by-mail packages had been received. According to Elections BC, the agency can process up to 200,000 mail-in ballots in time for the final count, which is legislated to begin at no less than 13 days after Election Day on October 24th, which would be November 6th. However, it is estimated that up to 35% of voters, or 800,000 people, could choose to mail in their ballot, which might mean a delay in determining the final election results. All that being said, if you're wanting to vote in Ashcroft, we don't know where they're going to go in Cache Creek yet, but in Ashcroft, Elections BC is holding the vote in the Ashcroft Hub. In the gym, so there's going to be some training for the people that are going to handle the ballots and the voting, and then be from August 17th to the 24th, you can come in and vote early. So vote early if you want to avoid as many people as possible for COVID. What was the other thing I was going to say? It'll come back to me. So now let's talk about our local people here. So local NDP, here he is. Aaron Sumexsa. I'm so sorry. And when the guy comes in here, I'm going to get his name properly. I should try and find out before he shows up. But anyway, so what he says on his social media is, what can government do to further improve healthcare services? As your BC NDP candidate for MLA, I am committed to improving healthcare services, decreasing wait times, and making sure all who require healthcare have access to it. So that is Aaron, and he is going to be going up against incumbent Jackie Taggart, as well as a gentleman named Jonah Timms. Now, unfortunately, he has nothing new on his social media page. We talked about him last time. He had a couple of articles posted to his page, but nothing that he has written himself. So he is running for the BC Greens, however. So that I'm looking forward to talking to him. Jackie actually has, instead of reading you something that she's done, she actually has a little video. So let's check that out.
My name is Jackie Taggart, and I have been the proud MLA of Fraser-Nicola for the last 7 years. I'm asking for your support on October 24th. When you fill out your ballot, vote for Taggart. Vote for the future of British Columbia.
So thank you, Jackie, for sharing that on your Facebook page. It makes my job a little easier. Now we have an interesting story. So this is former Fraser-Nicola NDP riding executive member to run as independent. So the story, and this is again written by Barbara Roden, so thank you, Barbara, for this. After some initial confusion, the BC Green Party has officially named Jonah Timms, as mentioned before, as its candidate for Fraser-Nicola. The riding might also gain an independent candidate, with Dennis Adamson confirming that he will be running without any party affiliation. Last week, the BC Green Party Riding Association in Fraser-Nicola said that it had not yet confirmed a candidate, and that the announcement that Timms has been acclaimed as the candidate has been made in error. On September 29th, Timms was confirmed named as the Green Party candidate in the riding. On the same day, Adamson declared that he had withdrawn his application to run for the Green Party and planned to run as an independent, and was working to gather the signatures he needed to file as a candidate before October 2nd deadline. Adamson was vice president for the BC NDP Fraser-Nicola Riding Association until the weekend of September 11th, when he and the other 12 members of the executive resigned in protest over the naming of Aaron by the provincial NDP as the party's candidate in the riding. While initial reports indicated that members of the executive planned to work to undermine Aaron, Adamson walked that back in an interview with the Journal. Thinking he could raise the profile of the BC Greens and help them win the riding, Adamson, currently an area director for the Fraser Valley Regional District, then put his name in to become a candidate for the party. Adamson is discouraged by the way political parties function. Quote, all parties are the same with control over what you say, and I have to say whatever I see is wrong. It's just part of me. I didn't want to work with a party anymore. Securing an election victory or an independent has traditionally been exceedingly difficult in a first-past-the-post electoral system. Despite this, Adamson said he believes an independent would work harder for their constituents and could represent true democracy. So that's an interesting thing, and I have heard that there's possibly even a fifth person running. I couldn't find out what that person's name was, but again, we're going to be having an all-candidates meeting and an interview with all of these people around the 15th of October. Now, taking a look more provincially, I've taken all of the political ads that the NDP, the Greens, and the Liberals have done over the last week, I guess, because it's only really been a week. And I've sort of mushed them all together. So they're not in any particular order, but this is the commercial videos that these three parties have come out with.
Hello. Hey, Aman. It's John Horgan. We just got into Richmond. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Well, we're doing really well, but everything's going all right on the campaign? Everything's up and running?
Absolutely. We had a great kickoff yesterday. We did a Burma shave and a great turnout. I think about 20 volunteers, all distancing socially and standing on different corners. Lots and lots of honks, real support for the government. I really see a positive outcome here.
Well, that sounds great. We're really looking forward to seeing you and talking to people in Richmond about the important services that they want to see continue, like healthcare, education, access to childcare. Those are the things people talk to us about. I don't know what the Liberals are doing, but as far as I'm concerned, let's focus on people and what they need.
I'm very excited and looking forward to meeting with you.
Excellent. We'll see you soon, man.
Thanks. Take care, man.
Hey everyone, John Horgan here. We just called the election. Now I know it's not what we all thought we would be doing when 2020 got started, but this pandemic has set us all back. Everything's changed, and there are unprecedented challenges ahead of us. I know some people are asking, why now? And I've got to tell you, I struggled with this decision. It was not easy, but I believe in my heart it's the best decision for all of us. Right now, we need to know that people are with us in our plan to fight this pandemic and build an economic recovery that works for everyone. We can't afford to be sidetracked by another 12 months of partisan politics, another year where the other parties can turn us back when we try to make decisions to help people. The choices, to me, are clear. The BC Liberals are pushing for changes that benefit the wealthy and the well-connected at your expense. We have a plan to keep you safe and to make life better and more affordable for people. We've accomplished a lot on what matters most to people, and there's a lot of work ahead of us. The question now is, where do British Columbians want to go, and who do they want to lead them? I'm asking for your support to keep BC on the right track. Like a lot of things these days, this election is going to be different from the one we had 3.5 years ago. But I know we can do it safely. And together, we can keep BC moving forward, not for the people at the top, but for everyone. This pandemic will be with us for a year or more, and that's why I believe we need to have an election now. We can either delay that decision and create uncertainty and instability over the next 12 months, more speculation, more talk about what might be, or we can do what I believe is always the right thing and ask British Columbians what they think. I believe the best way forward is to put the politics behind us. Let's address the differences we may have now so that we can all come together after the 24th of October, focused as we should be on the needs of all British Columbians.
I made the decision to call an election last Saturday morning after I got out of bed. I talked to my spouse. I contacted my staff. They informed the Lieutenant Governor that we were going to meet on Monday.
Well, I think we knew an election was coming, and I think we've known that for a few weeks now.
A BC Liberal government will immediately eliminate the provincial sales tax for a full year, saving you money right away, making life more affordable, getting more people working, and bringing investment back to BC. Because BC families and small businesses are struggling, and right now they need help. Our plan will provide huge savings to people at a time when they need it most. This is an unprecedented tax cut for an unprecedented time. Since everybody pays PST, everybody saves under our BC Liberal plan right away. Let's restore confidence and rebuild a better BC together. British Columbia isn't just a beautiful place to live. It's home to hard-working, big-hearted people who want a better life for themselves and their families. We're facing hard times right now, and that's why BC needs a real plan to keep people safe and rebuild our economy. I want to serve you as Premier of BC with a renewed and exciting BC Liberal team who will bring back prosperity, growth, and hope for the future. We believe that no matter the challenge, our brightest days are still ahead of us.
Hello, I'm Sonia Firstnow. I was only BC Green's leader for a week before John Horgan called an unnecessary snap election, but I'm ready to fight for a stronger province. BC needs a green recovery that will make our communities more secure, affordable, and sustainable. You deserve representatives that will put your day-to-day quality of life above their own political self-interests. This election, vote BC Green.
Authorized by the BC Green Party.
While British Columbians are doing our part to get through the pandemic, the NDP is playing risky games with our future. They called an unnecessary pandemic election so they can cling to power. Andrew Wilkinson will restore our confidence and rebuild BC. Andrew Wilkinson's BC Liberals have a plan to restore confidence and rebuild BC. Our plan to eliminate the PST will create jobs and make life more affordable for everyone. Let's restore confidence and rebuild a healthy British Columbia. Vote BC Liberal.
And I did say this morning in my Facebook post, I said thanks to the NDP because there were 100 things they could have done to stop this project if they'd wanted to. And they were opposed to it for a long time. They fought it for a long time. They were critical of it. And then when they became government, they changed their position.
Today, LNG Canada has sent a signal to the people of the world that British Columbia and Canada are open for business.
Local businesses are at the heart of BC's economy and our communities. Too many businesses have been shut down in this pandemic, and many are just scraping by. All the NDP released was a failed economic plan that was months delayed and does not meet the needs of BC businesses. As long as the NDP are in power, there will be no economic recovery in BC. This is an emergency. Andrew Wilkinson has a strong, smart economic recovery plan. He will restore our confidence and rebuild BC.
So yeah, that's all the ones I could find. I think that I might have doubled one up by accident, but anyway, let me know what you all think, either by commenting on this video, or you can, of course, email me at honjournalist@ashcrofthub.com. And last but not least for today, we're going to take a look at our MP and see what he's been up to. So MP Brad Viss has had another opportunity to represent the Mission-Matsqui-Fraser Canyon riding in Parliament. Recently, he has become the shadow minister for the opposition party for housing, and this is a clip reflecting that position.
Matsqui-Fraser Canyon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before I begin, I just want to wish Aaron and his wife, Rebecca, a quick recovery from COVID-19. Et j'adresserai le même souhait à M. Blancet et sa famille aussi. The member from Durham. My apologies, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Still a rookie move. A couple of points about the throne speech. The Liberal government's throne speech repeated false, previously debunked claims that their programs have helped 1 million people being housed. Parliamentary Secretary Vaughan is on record in the Toronto Star stating, I mean, obviously we've double counted on rhetorical advantage, and I quote, "This is irresponsible and the worst possible way to start a conversation addressing housing in Canada." Point number 2, the newly announced Detailed Light Rapid Housing Initiative throws $1 billion taxpayer dollars at a Band-Aid solution to provide 3,000 units between now and March. That breaks down to $333,000 per unit. With an already poor track record of getting infrastructure money out the door, how will this program be different? What will the quality of these units be? Thirdly, on the first-time home buyers plan, the Liberals' only solution to address affordable home ownership is to take a share of a Canadian's mortgage. As a Conservative, I fundamentally disagree with this co-ownership model. The government should incentivize the use of RRSPs and other methods to help Canadians leverage their own funds to purchase a home, such as perhaps an increased basic personal tax exemption for young people seeking to enter the market. Many communities across Canada are also part of the missing middle. They don't qualify for rural funding streams or urban-focused initiatives and have once again been overlooked. Like many regions in Canada, my riding of Mission-Matsqui-Fraser Canyon and the District of Mission fall into this category. My office is adjacent to Haven in the Hollow, a temporary shelter that serves a permanent clientele base suffering from severe addiction and mental health issues. The Liberal government announced a plan to reduce chronic homelessness by 50% in 2017, which they have since doubled down on and promised a complete elimination. But there's been no actual progress. The Haven is expanding because Mission's homeless population has doubled, compounded largely by the ongoing fentanyl crisis facing British Columbia. While the expansion of Haven in the Hollow is necessary, the increased homeless population is challenging for the neighboring small businesses attempting to get back on their feet and move on past COVID-19. In British Columbia, we've had 4 times the number of deaths from fentanyl overdoses than COVID-19. How then does this all relate back to housing? And what can and should the federal government be doing about it? As a British Columbian and as a Canadian, I believe in our duty to care for our vulnerable citizens, a duty that governments of all stripes have missed the mark on. But simply caring for and addressing the symptoms of homelessness is unsustainable. Real action must be taken to address the underlying causes. For instance, we know that money laundering from the illegal drug trade has artificially inflated housing costs. The primary method criminals use is even named the Vancouver model, for goodness sake. Young people across British Columbia, even those making a good living, six-figure salaries, can no longer afford homes in the communities they were raised in, and they've lost hope of reaching home ownership. COVID-19 has only compounded these difficulties. Jobs have been lost, hours have been cut, and parents have been forced to make impossible health decisions. La maison était toujours beaucoup plus qu'une place pour se poser la tête, mais COVID-19 a intensifié son usage multifonctionnel. La maison est maintenant une place où nous travaillons, étudions, enseignons à nos enfants et essayons de faire reprise de nos vies occupées. Quand nos espaces de habitation ne peuvent pas accueillir ces activités, nous désespérons et nous sentons emprisonnés. Comme un gouvernement en étant, les conservateurs vont prioriser que l'ascension à la propriété soit possible et que les Canadiens auront plus d'options et d'espoir pour atteindre leur but. Why has the Liberal government not put in place the legislative, regulatory, and enforcement measures necessary to stop money laundering through the real estate market, which Vancouver has become famous for? Canadians deserve to be on a level playing field, not competing for housing with global elite looking to park their millions and use our tax advantage in a safe country. While I admit trying to solve the money laundering issue won't solve all of our housing challenges, it is an important start for many British Columbians who've lost hope. In January 2019, the Canadian Revenue Agency provided an all-party briefing where they acknowledged that while their risk-based auditing methods were augmented, little had changed on the front end to prevent money laundering and tax avoidance, save for signing an attestation declaring one's primary residence and citizenship. Criminals don't follow the law, Mr. Speaker, and CRA must revise its approach that's relying on the honor system. As parliamentarians, we have the responsibility to ensure that government policies and programs work for our primary clients, the taxpayers and citizens of Canada. Le gouvernement fédéral devra réexaminer son rôle, spécialement en matière de juridiction partagée comme logement. There needs to be a shift as well from an Ottawa knows best approach to a service delivery model. And here's a real-world example. Last week I spoke to the chair of the Mission Sustainable Housing Community about the Liberals' recently touted $300 million housing supply challenge, which incidentally is not yet open. She doesn't want another application process to maybe receive some funding.
I thought that was a 2-minute clip, and it turned out to be, I wasn't even halfway through it, so we're going to stop it there. But that's our MP in action, so thank you, Brad. And that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. So, Scott Osterhout, if you are watching, we hope that you are doing well wherever you are. And everybody have yourselves a fantastic weekend. We'll see you on Tuesday. Stay safe.